Hello, audience. Welcome to another edition of Business Miles, my podcast where we take a look at everything that is travel. Today, my guest is Joshua Dutton-de Beer. Joshua has been a career administrative professional and today works at the Herzing University. Joshua, welcome to Business Miles. It is my pleasure to host you here.
Thank you.
Let's start with your professional journey. Can you tell us more about your professional journey?
Sure. I have been in the administrative world for close to 20 years now, working for medical associations, nonprofits. I ended up at Herzing University just over 3 years ago. I work for our chief operating officer, kind of doing project management. My title is executive assistant, but when you think of an executive assistant scheduling meetings and ordering lunches, I kind of do very, very little of that and am instead kind of involved in opening new campuses and campus moves, some of the larger strategic things. The other part of what I do is I oversee all of our purchasing systems, travel systems, anything that our day-to-day employees or our students are using to coordinate their lives. I'm the administrator for all of those here at Herzing.
Got it. That's a very interesting journey. I know for sure that not a lot of executive assistants or administrative professionals do the kind of work that you are doing today. So kudos to you on making great progress in your career.
Thank you.
Uh, um, Now you mentioned that one of the processes that you oversee at Herzing University is travel. Travel in the university space is not very well understood. Can you tell our audience more about how travel works inside a university?
Sure. And I think it's different for, standalone universities that are one campus. We have right now 12 campuses in 8 states, expanding to two additional campuses in the next couple of years. Our people travel a lot. Not only our leadership, but when we are opening new campuses or there's new hires at a campus, training involved, our people travel quite a bit. In addition to that, we have three large meetings each year, one with all of our leadership staff, one with all of our departments, so admissions, financial aid, student services, and then we do our budget planning meeting for the following year here in Milwaukee every fall. So we travel for all of those. I think if it's a multi-campus university system, you probably will see a lot of that travel for the most part.
Got it. And do you also have some student travel? You mentioned that's also something that happens at a university.
Yes, and that's actually a very good point. So our university is 75% nursing programs. In addition to the classroom time or the didactics, lectures, things like that, most of our students have a requirement that they need to complete physical hours inside a nursing skills lab or a simulation lab. So we pull all of those students to three of our different campuses because some of our programs are online, they're spread throughout the country. So there are quite a few times during the year that we pull all these students to one campus for, call it a month-long intensive lab training program. So we do have students that travel quite a bit as well.
Got it. So, between your staff members and students, I suppose travel plays a very important role, both in their, both for staff members and in their work, and then for students to, complete their education. I know about 1.5 years back, you were looking out for a new travel solution. What made you look for a new travel solution, and what were the key factors in the evaluation?
So when I started at Herzing, our whole administrative staff kind of flipped. Everyone was new. The system that we were using was very clunky, difficult to use. Customer service, I'll say, was probably non-existent. Like if you needed to change a flight or change a booking, you could call and sit on hold for 45 minutes. If you even got a hold of someone, there was no guarantee that it was going to get done correctly. Part of the other factors that were really important to us is expense reimbursement processes. We did not have that with our old system, and we're using physical spreadsheets that got sent to our accounting department, signed off on by hand, and put in a file drawer. So that was very important to us, but I would say that the biggest thing for us was the ease of booking online, being able to make the changes online, and the customer service being very responsive to last minute changes that were needed.
Got it. So these are very important considerations. I can, when I speak to different guests on the podcast, they've all mentioned that having an easy to use software, a software where you can book online and where you get support when it matters, is a very important need base for them as well. Well, I know you are you're an ITILITE customer today, and I believe you're a happy ITILITE customer at that. So, how did you discover ITILITE and what portions of what ITILITE offered appealed to you?
So when we looked at different travel platforms from what we were using, we actually had a kind of a small team of people that I coordinated, looked at a number of different platforms. Really, it came down to just comparing what worked best for an all-in-one solution. And I'm going to say we found ITILITE by just, Googling central travel booking platforms. Um, Same thing there. The team at ITILITE, when I sent to ask about the program, was very responsive, put together information on absolutely everything they could offer and how it could benefit our organization. Uh, ITILITE kind of stood out because I'm going to say that a lot of the other platforms did not offer the number of benefits that ITILITE had for us.
Got it. Got it. Now, let me go back a little bit. You mentioned your previous travel solution was clunky. When you moved to ITILITE, how did, what changed in your life? Right? And I'm assuming you also book travel for, your boss, the COO, and for yourself as well, since you mentioned you're involved with opening of new campuses.
Yes. So I would say that probably the biggest change for us, and I'll speak to this from kind of a personal viewpoint, is that our old platform, if anything went wrong or someone couldn't get a hold of a customer service representative, or they couldn't change something online, they were coming to me. I have a lot of things I do in my life, and I would say that even just the time saving for me to not have to stop what I'm doing, try and change someone's flight last minute, has been a great benefit for me. For the rest of our staff and our students, I think a very big benefit is that if they need to make changes, they can hop in and do it themselves. I would say that probably the first few weeks there was a lot of, well, there's a little customer service chat button on the bottom of the website. Click on that. I don't have time to do this for you. So I would say that's probably the biggest change. And then to go back to expenses, revamping that whole system that someone can take a picture of a receipt with their phone, upload it immediately at the end of the week or end of the month, just put together the expense report and submit it instantly, has also been one of the biggest changes that's helped our organization. Not only my time saving, but also our accounting team. It saves them tons of time by just having to review it instead of doing everything by hand.
That's excellent and that's great to hear. Um, if I can stay on the point for a minute more, I'd love to know when it comes to feedback from your users, right? Them getting support, being able to do things on their own are definitely important areas. But I also know from my conversations with other guests that loyalty is important or loyalty benefits when it comes to booking airline and hotels are important to users, particularly those who travel frequently. Right? Did you hear any feedback from your employees about these elements?
We did, and a lot of the feedback was very positive. With any change, there are people need to learn. There are a couple of small challenges, but in the listing, for example, if you're booking, call it a Marriott hotel, ITILITE will tell you right on there that it's points eligible. So really was people looking out for that, but the fact that they can get their loyalty points and use those And as a company, we don't require that people use those for more work trips. They get to use those however they see fit using them. We've gotten super positive feedback on that. People love that.
Got it. That's great to hear. Now, finally, your feedback as the program administrator. I know you already mentioned that you no longer have to spend time helping people book travel. But if you have to take a step back and you have to look at how much is Herzing spending on travel, or where is the spend going towards, has that part become easier? What kind of analytics or reports do you get from Itilite, and does that help?
It does, and that's an excellent point for me is that even with our old travel platform, we could not get the reports that we needed to find out where people are going, how much they're spending. Um, that process is very easy for us and very easy to follow. Not only me, but our accounting team. It's very good in helping track, you know, if and we have approval processes in place, but who's spending $1,000 a night on a hotel versus what's within our policy. All of that is great with Itilite, and we review all of that on a regular basis to keep our company, not only saving money, but also the ability to say, these are our preferred properties for hotels, these are our preferred flights for you to book. All of that is very easy to see and very transparent.
Got it. Got it. All right. This is super helpful, and I'm sure our audience will benefit from your insights. Now, to close, I have maybe a step back question for you. Right? The starting point where you were at a few years ago, right? Where expense process was being run on spreadsheets and over email, and travel was being run through a, lightly managed platform with not so great user experience. I'm sure there are more universities and companies that are in a similar state today. So if you were to step back, what would your commandments be to them, or what advice would you give them?
I would say we looked and we looked and looked and looked and looked at different travel platforms when we did this. And, not only the team of people that I worked with, but then we have to go to our leadership to say, we're making this major change for the company. Um, Call it even a month into us switching over, there was no question. We also regularly kind of go back through to kind of say what options are out there, whether they be brought to us by someone else, a cold call. Italy, hands down, has been probably one of the best decisions that we've made for switching to a new platform. And after constant review of it, it just has everything that I think a university or school that's coordinating travel on a regular basis needs. So I would just say, very good decision. I've personally done the research into a number of different platforms, and Italite was definitely the way to go for us, and it still is.
Got it. All right. Josh, thank you so much for making time for a conversation with us today. Our audience will definitely benefit from your insights and your wisdom. So thanks a bunch
Thank
for
you.
making time. Dear audience, so this was a very engaging conversation with Josh. We'll definitely leave Josh's LinkedIn profile in uh, in the comments section. So if you think you would want to learn more from Josh or from me, we'd be happy to connect with you on LinkedIn. So do reach out to us there. Thank you so much for listening into the podcast today. Have a great day.